Good day, students. Today we're going to look at a solution to number 2 problem on page 144, book 1. That's chapter 2 on systems of equations, and this one is located in practice 6 problems. It's a word problem that's requiring us to set up a system of equations and solve the problem. Okay, so let's have a look at the problem. Tickets for a play cost 50 reals for adults and 40 reals for children. 1,000 tickets were sold. 1,000 tickets were sold, and for a total of 48,000 reals. How many adult tickets, how many children's tickets were sold? So the first thing, of course, is you want to decide what variables you're going to use. Most common are X and Y, but you can use A for adult, C for children if you want. So let's let X equal the number of adult tickets sold. Okay, so we're looking for the number of tickets. So we'll call X the number of adult and Y the number of children tickets sold. Okay, now come up with two equations. Now when you're doing these cost equations, ticket equations like this, one is going to be the number of the item. So the first one, let's call it the number of tickets equation, the total number of tickets. Okay, so our first equation is let's see, we have 1,000 tickets sold. Now, there's only two types of tickets, children's and adults, so they must add up. So if you sold X adult tickets, you add that to Y children's tickets, then you must have sold 1,000 adult tickets, total tickets, right? So that's not too bad. So the number of tickets, or the number of items, depending, in this case it's a ticket, will just be X plus Y equals the total number. Now the next one is what we call a revenue equation, or a cost equation. Now we know the total number of revenue generated or taken in was 48,000 reals. Okay, but we have to figure out how to write the rest of this equation, which is by taking each item and multiplying by the cost of each item. For example, X is the number of adult tickets, so we take X and say, well, how much was each ticket for each adult? It was 50 reals. We multiply 50 by X. Okay, and then we add to that, of course, the number of children's tickets. So there's our adults cost, so 50 reals times each adult ticket. Now the children's tickets are Y tickets, and how much did they cost each? They were 40 reals, so it's 40 times Y. So there's your system of equations for this particular problem. Of course, then you can choose any method to solve, right, whatever your preference is. I think I'll use my favorite, which is multiplication, addition, or elimination, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to multiply the top equation by negative 50. So top equation by negative 50 is going to give me negative 50x plus negative 50y is negative 50,000. So I multiplied the top equation by negative 50. And the bottom equation, I'm not multiplying by anything. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Alright, so I've just multiplied the top equation by, well, that should be 48,000 there. Let me just make sure, yeah. And now we're going to add those two equations. Okay, so I'm going to add these two equations. And let's see what I get. The x's cancel, and I get negative 10y equals, looks like negative 2,000. Dividing each side now by negative 10 to finish solving for y. And I get an answer of 200. So it looks like 200, y represents children, so it looks like 200 children's tickets were sold. Now that means, of course, if they add up to 1,000, right, then we can see very quickly that if x plus 200 equals 1,000, then x must equal 800. So it looks like my answer is 200 children's tickets 800 adult tickets. That definitely adds up to 1,000. I'm going to double check the revenue equation just to make sure. So I'll take 50 reals multiplied by 800 adult tickets, plus there was 40 reals for the 200 children tickets. Now that should add up to the total revenue of 48,000. So let's see if that works. 50 times 800, that's 40,000. 40 times 200, that's 8,000. So indeed, look, 48,000 does add up to 48,000. So your answer is 800 adult tickets. Now it's a word problem, so we're required to give a word answer. So you would write something like 800 adult tickets sold and 200 children tickets sold. So make sure you give your answer, and then you can circle it or put a box around it or something to highlight your answer. It's a good thing at the end too. So that's the solution to number 2 on page 144.